Okay, picture this. It's 4 in the morning on a Tuesday, and one of the most safety-obsessed AI companies on the planet accidentally just gives away all their biggest secrets to the internet. No, they didn't get hacked. An evil AI didn't escape. Nope, they lost everything because of one single, very human mistake. So, let's get into it.
1. Missing line. That's literally it. Some poor engineer, probably running on fumes, trying to push an update, makes a tiny error. I mean, it's an error so small you could blink and miss it. But that one tiny slip-up was all it took to expose the entire source code for Claude, one of the most powerful AI models in the world.
And this is where it gets really interesting. What we're about to walk through, this isn't some rumor or a whisper on a forum. This is a breakdown of the actual code that got published online for everyone to see. It's like we've been given a direct window into a future of AI that, well, Anthropic clearly wasn't ready for us to see yet. So here's how we're going to break this whole thing down. We're going to start with that 4 a.m. mistake and figure out exactly how it happened. Then, we'll dive into the secret code and uncover these incredible God mode features they've been hiding. We'll compare all that to the AI you and I actually get to use, explore the psychology behind the leak, and wrap up by looking at how we can fix this, very human problem.
All right, let's start at the beginning, the moment of disaster. We need to get into the nitty-gritty of how one little keyboard slip managed to completely unravel years and years of secret work. To really get a sense of the scale here, we're talking about 512,000 lines of proprietary TypeScript code, 1,900 different files. In the crazy competitive world of AI, this wasn't just a minor oops. This was basically the digital version of leaving the blueprints for the Death Star on a public park bench.
So, how on earth did this actually happen? Well, the culprit is a little thing called a source map. The easiest way to think about it is like a decoder ring for software. It lets developers see their original, easy-to-read code even after it's been all jumbled up for the computer. It's super useful for fixing bugs, but it's the absolute last thing you want your competitors to get their hands on. The engineer just forgot to add that one line of code that says, hey, maybe don't include the secret decoder ring in the public release. A single, tiny, but absolutely fatal mistake.
In the fallout, it was instant. At 4 a.m. the code goes live. It feels like seconds later the open source community is all over it. They're downloading it, they're mirroring it, they're spreading it everywhere. Anthropic started trying to take it down, but it was just too late. People were already rewriting the code into different languages, creating these clean room versions that can't really be taken down. The genie was officially out of the bottle.
Okay, so the code is out there. That's a disaster for them. But what did people actually find? This is where the story shifts from just being a tech screw-up to being a massive revelation about where AI is headed. Because buried in all that code were dozens of secret, unreleased features.
Yeah, they found 44 hidden feature flags. These are basically on-off switches for experimental capabilities. And we're not talking about small things like changing a button color. No. These are what you can only describe as God mode features. Stuff that shows what Claude can really do behind the curtain.
First up, a system they codenamed KAIROS. Now, this is not the chatbot we're all used to, where you have to type something in to get a response. KAIROS is designed to be a proactive, always-on AI agent. It literally watches your workflow in the background, figures out what you need, and just does things on its own. It doesn't even wait for you to ask.
Then there's something called AutoDream. This is wild. It's a process where the AI basically tidies up its own brain while you're not using it. It consolidates its memory, it organizes information. It's literally making itself smarter and more efficient for the next time you log on.
And this is a real game changer, Ultraplan. This feature lets the AI go into a deep thinking mode for up to 30 minutes to solve one single, really hard problem. Think about that. While the public versions we use time out or forget what we were talking about 5 minutes ago, their internal version can just sit and think, really think, about tough problems.
And here is the absolute best part, the perfect irony. One of those 44 hidden features was a system called Undercover Mode. And its whole job was to stop the AI from accidentally revealing its own secrets and internal code names. You can't make this up. They built an anti-leak system, and the anti-leak system leaked.
So finding all these God mode features leads to this one huge realization. For anyone who's ever used these public AI tools and just felt frustrated, like the AI was being held back or wasn't as smart as it should be, well, turns out you were right.
Just look at this comparison. On one side, you have these amazing leaked features, proactive AI, deep thinking, self-organizing memory. And on the other side, what we get?
restrictive prompts, unknowing context limits, and just this general feeling that the AI has been dumbed down. This leak basically confirms what so many of us suspected. The public version of the AI is being held back, probably for safety and, let's be honest, cost reasons. And all this leads us to the most important question of all. See, this wasn't a technology failure. The AI didn't mess up. A person did. So now we have to shift from talking about the what to the why. We've got to talk about the real culprit here, our own human psychology.
It's a question we can all ask ourselves, right? Why do brilliant, highly skilled experts sometimes make the most unbelievably basic mistakes? It has nothing to do with how smart they are. It's all about how our brains are wired.
The answer is a well-known psychological phenomenon called a skill-based omission. Here's what happens. An expert is doing a complicated task they've done 1,000 times before. To save energy, their brain just goes on autopilot. But when you add in cognitive overload, like, say, being exhausted at 4 a.m., they can lose track of the situation and just skip a step. It's a trap that pros fall into because they're pros.
So if the problem is basically a feature of being human, how in the world do you fix it? Here's the key. You can't just tell people to pay more attention or try harder. That doesn't work. The solution isn't more willpower, it's better systems.
The answer is something called the Swiss cheese model. Just imagine each of your safety measures is a slice of Swiss cheese, and each slice has holes in it. Now, a single slice might let a mistake slip through one of its holes. But if you layer a bunch of slices on top of each other, automated checks, system safeguards, checklists, peer reviews, the chances of all the holes lining up perfectly becomes almost zero. A single human error just can't make it through all the layers. It gets caught.
And that right there is the real lesson from this whole Anthropic leak. We're building AI that can dream and plan and act on its own. The AI itself is on a path to becoming flawless. But as long as the systems for deploying that AI depend on tired people navigating complex steps at 4 a.m., our entire high-tech future is always going to be just one sleepy keystroke away from total disaster. The biggest bottleneck isn't the AI,